Good morning, friends. I'm on my phone today because Facebook Live didn't want to start on my computer. So we'll see if we'll see if anybody wants to join. So this, friends, whoa, that's crazy, is day 21 of these grounding and connection things. And I'm trying to remember the last time I did anything consistently for 21 days. And I don't think I can. So just before we start, I've been thinking a lot about, hey, Becca, welcome to day 21 of grounding and connection. I'm on my phone today, so the sound might be a little bit echoey. The idea of doing something consistently for 21 days is kind of new for me. I don't think I've ever consciously done it. And I'm recognizing that what this has done is put in place a lot of stuff that I've been wanting to do anyway, like starting every day with a poem, starting every day with 10 to 15 minutes of just gentle grounding. Yeah, that's so odd. And Becca, one of the reasons that I keep doing it is literally because of you. Because I'm like, oh, I get to spend virtual time with Becca, who I haven't seen in years, and whoever else watches. So thank you for being a kind of support structure that helps allow this to continue to anyone who's watching. And I think it brings up a couple of thoughts for me this morning. The first is I'm seeing a lot of posts on the Facebooks and the Instagrams and the whatevers about like, this is the moment we have to make the big change. And the fact is, it's impossible to make big changes without support structures. And a support structure doesn't have to be something formal. It can just be something small, like knowing that some folks, even a couple folks, are doing these along with me. So as we're navigating this time, I guess the invitation is to find those supports and the structures. So if there are things that you want to put in place during this time of disruption, how can we put supports in place so that when the disruption eases, which it may in 12 to 18 months, who knows, those structures are there to support, because the forces to pull us back to old ways of being are going to be very, very strong. It's just my sense of it. All right. Deep thoughts for Saturday morning. So let's dive into our poem by Hafez. Today's poem, April 4th, is, I love this title, My Faith Increased a Bunch. When the billboards and neons near God's inner kingdom started to read with signs like this, piety not welcome, my faith in God increased a bunch. That is, I felt a reasonable decoding. A translation of that message was, we need to loosen up. And those were always my sentiments. Exactly. That seems really, all of these poems, especially for these times, I think because Hafez and Rumi and other poets like that wrote these poems in very ecstatic and intense states. Hey, good morning, Linda. The poetry speaks to intensity. And the invitation in this one is to loosen up. I know in a lot of the clients and groups I've been speaking with, their temptation or their tendency is to clench in and try to control and plan. And the fact is, I don't think we're in a place to do that right now, right? And so the invitation in this poem is to see what happens if we loosen up. See what happens if we open to maybe a deeper sense of connection and the possibility that happens when we allow our assumptions about what the world is and what our place in it is, perhaps to loosen a little, if not downright dissolve, which is super uncomfortable, by the way. That's a big one. So let's take some of that. I think today we'll explore gratitude, and through the lens of loosening up a little bit and seeing what happens if we embrace a more expansive version of gratitude. I don't know what that means yet, but we'll find out together. So is find a way of sitting that feels comfortable to you. Or if you are outside, maybe find a way of standing or hugging a tree, whatever feels right to you. And it's funny, as we start this, I'm feeling very moved to just like have my friend, there's a plant right next to me, so I'm just going to touch my plant it sounded weird. All right, close your eyes, friends, and we'll just bring some attention to the breath. Just being very aware as you inhale that this is you inhaling. Being very aware as you exhale that this is you exhaling in this moment. And we can start to just consciously elongate the breath a little bit, really breathing in deeply. Feeling the diaphragm inflate, the lungs inflate, and then releasing the breath. And we'll do it again, and this time see if you can take in maybe 5 or 6% more breath. It may almost be uncomfortable. Here we go. Hold it for a moment and release. And we'll do that again, and let's see if we can inhale for a count of 6 and then exhale for a count of 6 as well. So here we go. Inhaling. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's hold for a couple. 1, 2, 3. And release gently. 3, 4, 5, 6. Beautiful. And now just take a nice deep breath in together. Release with a gentle sigh. And with that, we can just allow ourselves to come back into our body. Just feeling your weight pressing down against your seat, feeling your hips start to sink towards the earth. Noticing as we invite gravity to work, our body's natural tendency to just want to surrender its weight. And perhaps our mind's natural tendency to want to resist that. And so we can just allow our shoulders consciously to fall a little bit towards the earth. Allow ourselves to feel the weight of our head on top of our shoulders. And if you find that the muscles of your forehead are tense, like if your eyebrows are drawn together, you can just gently ask those muscles to release. Just loosening the mind a little bit. And then with a nice kind of gentle attention, doing a light, compassionate scan of the body, just starting right above the top of the head, the crown of the head, and working your way down. And as you scan the body, just noticing those places that feel loose and open to possibility, and also those places that feel tight or constricted, where we're holding on. So working your way down through the throat and the chest, the upper back, the mid back, the lower back, the belly, the hips, all the way down through the thighs to the very bottom of your feet. And from this place of just a little bit more embodiment and awareness, just invite in a connection or awareness for someone or something for which you are profoundly grateful. Just an awareness. And see if you can invite in something that feels very small and specific. So instead of the sun, it might be the beauty of a dust mote caught in a sunbeam. Or instead of the earth, it might be your favorite plant friend. Or a person for whom you're very grateful. And as you connect with this gratitude, see if you can bring even another layer to it, which is just what is the crux or the essence of that gratitude? What is it about this object or being or person or image that makes you feel so grateful? And all through this, just stay gently connected with your breath and see if you can tune into any shifts in your breath or your heart rate or your body as we explore gratitude together. So I'm noticing kind of an opening in my chest and a feeling of just kind of upwelling emotion, really tender emotion from my belly, starting to move up through my body. And when you feel connected to that very concrete, specific object of gratitude, see if you can expand your awareness to start to encompass all of the other circumstances and beings and ecosystems that are necessary to that being or moment or person's existence. So if I tune into gratitude for the plant right beside me, that I'm also tuning into gratitude for the soil that it's in. I'm tuning into gratitude for the pot that holds that soil. I'm tuning into, in my mind it's a forest, but whatever space that soil came from. And for the pot, I'm also tuning into the hands that made it. So as we start to explore that web of connection through the lens of very specific gratitude, we can recognize that anything we're grateful for is secretly connected to everything else in existence. Because if I'm connected to gratitude for this leaf of the plant, then I'm connected to gratitude for the sun that allows it to grow, and for the water, and for all the engineers who created the systems that bring water to the faucet I use to water the plant. So just play with that and see how expansive you can allow your awareness to be while still staying connected with gratitude. And I notice as I take that in that my body almost wants to expand to encompass it. And so we can play with that a little. if you want to join me, you can just imagine that energy of gratitude with each breath expanding off the body. Or maybe even the boundaries of your body expanding to encompass more and more space and energy and connection as we start to really recognize that gratitude can connect all things, all beings. And you can expand it even further if you want to, over the oceans, down into the center of the earth, all the way up to the stars. Maybe even following this awareness back through time to the very moment of creation. Because this very concrete, specific thing, moment, or person that we're grateful for, if we follow it and expand it enough, connects back to that original impulse of creation. And as I'm playing with this, I'm finding my head start to get a little spinny with holding all of this. And so the invitation in that is just to loosen the control that the mind wants to exert to understand this experience or way of being towards gratitude, and simply allow yourself, as much as is right for you, to allow the experience to be exactly what it is in this moment. Beautiful. I'll invite us just to bring the attention back fully to the breath, knowing that we can always return to that connection with gratitude and that kind of exploration. And just feeling as you breathe, being very aware that this is you inhaling and you exhaling. Being very aware that we are still connected to gratitude. And being very aware that we are also still in a body. And just take a nice deep breath in. And release it with a gentle sigh. And again, nice deep breath in. With a gentle sigh, release. And for this last one, if you want to, you can just put your hands gently over your heart, just allowing your palms to warm your heart. And deep breath in and release, acknowledging that we are all grateful and objects of gratitude in every moment. You can open your eyes if they're closed. Yeah. That was fun. I don't think I've ever done it that way before. Wow. Thank you. Like crying a little bit. So we will close out with our friends, the Wild Unknown archetype cards from Kim Krantz. And the question that I'm holding today is, how can I deepen my experience of gratitude and connection? Super simple. How can I deepen my experience of gratitude and connection? And it feels like this guy, oh, there's like 3 that popped out. I think this guy wants to play with us. Oh, interesting. I don't think we've had this friend before. So our card today is the Forest. The Forest. Yeah. Beautiful. Ooh, I love this one so much. All right, let's see what the Forest holds for us. I think it's 36. All right. I'm holding that for you. The suspense is building. 35, 36. The forest, it's the woods, the thicket, the jungle. Consider for a moment your earliest memory of the forest. it's likely included all the mythic dynamics of this archetypal space. A little fear, a little enchantment, perhaps losing your way, perhaps discovering a secret mystical treasure. Such is the magic of the forest. It requires first that you enter it, and then that you get lost within it. You may think there's a path to lead you straight through, but soon enough you'll be on what is known as the pathless path. There are tricksters here, dense foliage and entanglement, but equally present are the glimmers of fairy light and friends among the trees. You're on an adventure now, and there's no turning back. So embrace the dim light and the moving shadows, whether literal or imaginal. Brave the forest and get lost getting found. When light, the forest is a place where magic abounds with childlike wonder and adventure. When dark, concealment, density, and savagery. I love this. I mean, the invitation for me is pretty clear on this, right? Is embrace uncertainty. It's like in the Hafez poem. I'm loving, by the way, especially the last few days, the way the poems and the archetype cards and the meditations we're doing are all tying together and weaving together in a really organic way. I can't plan it. But this idea that if we embrace the pathless path and loosen our need or desire to control, then not only is there adventure and magic and like fairy creatures, there's also a different relationship with gratitude and a different relationship with expansive connection that becomes possible when we allow ourselves to be exactly where we are, which perhaps individually and definitely in the collective is the unknown. We just don't know what's happening. And the message of the forest is that can be a really beautiful place to be. Not comfortable, but beautiful. There's a place in here, I just want to read this again. Where is it? You may think there is a path to lead you straight through, but soon enough you'll be on what is known as the pathless path. So if we stop looking for certainty, then maybe we'll find a different way through, friends. Thank you for joining this morning. We'll be back on Monday. Hope you have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Saturday. As always, these are posted here on the Facebook wall, or whatever this is, timeline. And then I also post them on my website at storyandspirit.org/meditations. And also, for folks who are interested, I'm doing on Tuesday evening at 6:30 p.m., I'm doing a healing group and breathwork workshop via Zoom. It's totally different than this, much more interactive, and we'll be exploring breathwork and community and connection. It's really beautiful, and if you're interested in that, I'll put the note in the comments or the link in the comments, and it's also just storyandspirit.org/events to see all that stuff. So again, thank you so much for being here. Have a beautiful weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.